I'm Mark Fernandez, and this is Franchising with Fernandez. Hi, I'm on the phone today with Jabbar Mumtaz.
Hi.
Hi, Jabbar. You're the master franchisor for Donut King and Crust Gourmet pizzas in the United Kingdom. Thank you for
That's
joining
correct.
us.
You're very welcome.
Great. Well, Jabbar, can you just tell us where exactly you're situated and how many franchisees and support staff do you have working with you?
Well, currently I'm situated in Ilford in Essex, not too far from where I live, so that helps. We currently have 8 franchisees across both brands. We started opening our first stores middle of summer last year. So it's been an interesting journey. We would have opened more stores, but obviously considering the circumstances, that's come to a bit of a standstill at the moment. Support staff wise, I have 6 staff in total. I have a business development manager. We have 2 trainers, one for Donut King, one for Crust. I have a CFO, my own PA, and a legal team as well to boot. So yeah, I mean, my team's been great, to be honest. Given the current circumstances, and we're looking to build on that once we can come out of this pandemic that we're in.
Yeah, look, and let's just talk a little bit about that. And, can you just walk us through what you've seen and what you've been through with your team in the last few weeks? I mean, these are crazy times. So,
No,
I'm sure.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we saw on the news just after Christmas what was happening in China, particularly in Wuhan, and nobody really anticipated that this would happen throughout the whole world. Everybody thought it was an isolated incident and that, China would deal with it. Then obviously you had the devastating effect with Italy. And that's when people thought, okay, this is close to home.
Yes.
This is gonna affect everyone. And we had the government here in the UK. They kind of took a different stance. They were like, let's wait and see kind of attitude, which I think was personally the wrong thing to do. We should have had a lockdown much earlier. But when the lockdown came, it was quite sudden. Shall I say? It was literally, I think, a night before. We were given a social distancing to keep. But when the UK is quite a small country, if you compare it to Australia, it's tiny. And people are, it's very difficult to keep social distancing, especially when you're in shopping centres, in supermarkets. And, we went from literally from having stores that were doing dine-in, we went out to just walk-ins, and then we went on into delivery only.
Yes.
Certain stores we had, they were inside shopping centres, and those stores had to close for obvious reasons. So those stores closed, and the only stores that we have open right now are 2 Crust stores, and there's no walk-in, no sit-down. It's pure delivery. And funny enough, we've seen a huge spike in our sales because people, still need to eat, and the delivery side of that business is completely changed to how it was say 4 weeks ago.
Yes. Okay. Well, geez, it sounds like you're going through some of the similar things that we are here in Australia. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about personally yourself, and what's probably been your biggest challenge or hurdle and, that you've gone through with you and your family, if I can ask.
Well, I mean, I've got to say that personally, I'm pretty sure that I've had COVID-19 3 weeks ago, personally.
Right.
Because I had all the symptoms. Apart from the breathing problem, I never, touch wood, I never very rarely get ill. But I was knocked out for 2 days. It was so bad I couldn't get out of my bed. High temperature, body aching, splitting headaches.
Yes.
But thank God I didn't have any breathing problems. And it took me a week to recover. And at that time, I just thought it was a cold.
Wow.
I didn't really think much of it. So I kind of like self-isolated myself for 3 or 4 days. Luckily, no one in my family, caught it from me. But I think one of the biggest challenges that I found is like you said, I have, my kids are men now, they're 18, 21 and 25. And it's very difficult for me to, it's a challenge, shall I say, for me to tell them to, like, you can't go anywhere. You got to stay home.
Yes.
You know, I think as a parent, that's, you know, it's the most frightening thing, because you're like, okay, I can get ill. I'm fine. I'll deal with it. But you don't want your child to be in that position, especially with what you read and what you hear what's going on. You know, you want to look out for their well-being, you know, for their safety. So for me to kind of like, keep them in a lockdown, it's been quite challenging. You know, it has been very, very challenging. But yeah, I think I've got around to it now. Thank God there's technology. You know, there's, you know, you've got the internet, you've got, you know, Netflix, you've got, you know, the PlayStation. So you've got all that. I mean, I was thinking, speaking to my wife the other day, if this happened 25 years ago, what would be the technology was like, there was no internet then. You know, what would we have done? It would, you know, you'd be just sitting there thinking, oh my God, you know, how do we pass time? Yes. So yeah, I mean, it's been. I mean, what's happened is that we get to eat dinner together more now. Okay, so that's, you know, that as a family thing, that's nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've got like the old board games, the Monopoly. That's been fun. So, you know, it's, in a way, it's like we've all been taught to reconnect with each other rather than our technology, like our iPhones and our apps. We've been told to, you know, kind of like, because you can only be on your phone so much. Yes. You can only be surfing so much. You can only watch, you know, news so much. And then what I found is that the communication, particularly in my household, it's been nice. You know, it's like you're getting to know each other again, believe it or not. You know, you're beginning to appreciate the smaller things in life.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Can I change tack a little bit and talk about some of your franchisees and what you've done with your group to support them, some of the business activities, helping them with leasing perhaps? I don't know. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you've done?
So, you know, thank God the two Crust stores are pretty local to me. They're not that far away. And so we've had a huge, I mean, obviously with the issues with the products coming from the supply chain, it's been huge challenges. And so we've had to, I've had to particularly looking at other suppliers, and I've actually gone out of my way to make sure that I've picked the product up and delivered it to my franchisee to make sure they can continue to trade. And you know, a lot of people are like, wow, you know, that's really nice of you, but I'm just trying to make sure that I can do my bit to help my franchisees. I've also given them payment holidays on their royalties to help them with their cash flow. So, and I've made myself available for the franchisees 24/7. My phone's always on.
Yes.
So if there's ever a problem, I mean, this morning was a classic example. We had our flour delivered to one of the stores, and because the stores are on shorter times now, I mean, they trade literally from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Because the day trade doesn't really exist currently. And the drivers turned up with a product at 8 o'clock this morning and saying, "Oh, no one's here. We're going away." And if they'd gone away, the delivery would have been missed for another week. And you're talking a pallet, you know, 75 bags of flour. You know, I couldn't have that. You know, so I basically just jumped in my car. I've got a set of keys. Drove down there, let them in, and did my bit, because it's only fair that I should be able to do what I can do to help people, you know, who are within my business.
Wow, that's wonderful. And did I read somewhere that your past life was a franchisee for Subway?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So my background is actually IT. When the IT bubble burst,
yes,
I looked at franchising, and Subway was quite. It was quite a funny story. I was dropping my youngest child off at nursery one morning, and I bumped into a school friend. I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" He said, "Yeah, I work for Subway." I said, "Who? Who's Subway? Is that a train station? Is that the tube? Is that, you know, what is that?" He said, "No, it's a franchise." I've never heard of them. He said, "Come down to a seminar and listen to it." I said, "Oh, fine." Went down to a seminar, heard it. I thought, okay, yeah, it sounds interesting. Wasn't quite sold on the idea. The following week, I was on a holiday in Miami, and I happened to walk past a Subway store. So I thought, okay, this is Subway. So I walked in, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I came back, did my research, and thought, okay, I'll look into this. Spoke to Subway. They had a few. I think at the time there was only about maybe 13 stores in the whole country. They had a
Yes.
corporate store in London. So took a huge gamble. Purchased a corporate store, which was a loss-making store at the time. I worked in it day and night for 3 months to understand how the brand works, and did really well, and turned a loss-making store into a profit-making store. So the Subway team were like, what did you do differently?" I said, "Listen, went in there, half your staff was stealing, so we got rid of the staff. The product was not up to scratch. We fixed that, and the store wasn't up to scratch. We fixed that. So we're offering a great service, a great product, and a clean store. The three key ingredients in a franchise." And they were like, "Wow, how many stores do you want to open?" I said, "Sky's the limit." So the first year we had one store. The second year we had 3 more stores. By the time I exited the system, we had 19 stores
Wow.
throughout London, and I had the privilege of it was a kind of forced on me to set up a advertising fund. I had no background in advertising, and I was told, "Look, you got to set up an advertising fund for Subway." And I said, "I had no idea. How does that work?" And they were like, "Oh, you'll be fine. Don't worry, Jabal. We've got faith in you. There's £30,000 a kitty. You've got to spend it wisely for the year." Remember, back then there was no internet, so it was
Right.
very old school advertising. And I was the chairman for London for 5 years. I also had a seat on the national board. So I don't know how, I'm not don't wanna like guess your age, but just to give my age away. If you must have heard of Sub of the Day.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
my baby.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that was my baby. So, and that when that was launched, I think that was launched about 14 years ago. Um, and that went to every store in the world, every single Subway store. So it was
Wow.
quite a nice little, tick in the box for me. So my nickname was Subman, because I introduced Sub of the Day. But yeah, we did that, and then I thought, okay, you know what? Every brand has a 15-year cycle.
Yes.
It was just under 15 years. I needed a new challenge, and moved on to different avenues. Yeah, it was, but that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot.
Oh, and look, and that's where your empathy comes from your current franchisees, that you're helping them 24/7 and you're doing the things you're doing.
Absolutely. Look, I'm very hands-on. I'm kind of a franchisor. When people see me, they're like, "Why are you, even when the store's being built, why are you here every day?" I'm like, "Because this is just me. I want to make sure everything's done right. I take a lot of pride and love in my work, and people can see that. People can see that, and they're like, they feel comfort by that because they think, yeah, he actually cares. So you gotta show that. You gotta show the empathy. You gotta show the love for the brand. You gotta show your passion as well. That you want to see this work. In the UK, having one brand is hard enough. Having two is like quite a challenge.
Yes, I'm sure. And let's talk about those two brands. As the master, your franchisor is based overseas, and I think it's around my corner of the woods here.
Yeah, so the story is that the CEO at the time of RFG came down to London, and it was just by chance. I was in an expo and I got talking to the group, and they were like, "Wow, you got so much experience. Why don't you look at master franchising?" And I was like, "Okay, let's see." Had a meeting. I was shown several brands that they had. The two that stuck out for me were the pizza, because it was gourmet. No gourmet pizza. Well, there's only one gourmet pizza place here, but I think we're probably much better than them. I
Yes.
think so anyway. And again, donuts. It was a very limited market, so and there was a gap in the market for donuts. I thought, okay. So I thought, you know what? Before I sign any agreements, let me fly out to Australia. I thought, it's not that far. So I remember leaving Heathrow. I remember leaving Heathrow Airport, London, on I think it was a Saturday night, arriving 6 o'clock in the morning in Sydney, after a 22-hour flight, wherever it was. And straight away, I hit the ground running. Went to see franchisees. Went to meet for both brands, for Crust and Donut King.
Yes.
And I was very taken aback by how everybody was making great money, but they were very happy with the brands. And then from Sydney, I left on a Wednesday and I flew out to the Gold Coast, lovely place. Met the head office team, again met franchisees for both brands. And then on Friday, I flew back to flew back to London. So I was literally in Australia for 4.5 days.
Wow.
And it took me 2 weeks to recover from that trip because of the time zone. So yeah, but I had to understand what the brand was about, and more than anything, I wanted to meet the franchisees and to get a true and honest picture, before I dived in. But yeah, and I've been back since to Australia. I had a 3-week training course there, which was kind of weird because I went Christmas time and it was really hot.
Yes.
And I remember walking into stores and hearing Christmas music, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right,
Yes.
We're used to cold and wrapping up, and I'm walking around in my shorts, and it's Christmas songs going on, or, what's going on? But yeah, but it was good. It was good.
Great. And I'm assuming you're getting plenty of support from your Australian franchisors?
Absolutely. So I have a person who supports most of Europe, and she's based in Northern Ireland, and she's been great so far.
Wonderful. Oh, look, there's never enough support out there in
Absolutely.
these tough times. So, we're sharing things. All right, let's talk a little bit about what do you think the next 6 months is going to look like, and what your businesses may need to do to change. And
that's a very, very, very good question. Like I said to you, socially and economically, I think things will change. This is a game changer, what we're going through. In terms of the QSR market, what will change, I've seen this over the last 3 years, in particular in the UK, is the delivery market will overtake the dine-in market.
Right.
Just for the practicality, but people are busy. The millennials, want everything touch and go, and I see that continuing. In terms of will things be back to how they were? Honestly, I don't have the answer for that currently. It's really going to depend on how bad we're hit, in particular in the UK, with COVID-19. I think there's going to be a time when people need time to want to grieve, and to time to recover from what's happened. But I do think that the vegetarian market and the vegan market, I see that exploding.
Right.
Because meat now has become very expensive in the UK, extremely expensive, and it's hard to get hold of. And I think people will be more kinder, in particular to animals and to each other, because they're really going to appreciate, what they miss, what they couldn't have when they were in lockdown. The old saying, you don't miss you don't miss it until it's gone.
Yes.
And that's so true. You take even grabbing your coffee from whether it's Gloria Jeans or Costa or Starbucks, they're all closed right now. So, you miss the small little things. You miss hanging out with, your friends. You miss hanging out with family members. So I think I think the community will get stronger, because people are really going out their way to help each other. I mean, even if I don't know if I mentioned to you this morning, even I'm a volunteer for the National Health Service, and it's something that I want to give back to the community because I have a bit more time on my hands now. So it's something that I want to give back and I want to help out, and I think it's only fair that people should do that. I think people have realized, Mark, that there's more to life than what was going on before. This is a complete reset for a lot of people.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right, and we don't take these opportunities until they're almost forced upon us.
Yeah, absolutely. The smallest things now. I'm going for a walk in a park. Just the smallest little things. You're like, wow. People will really appreciate this going forward, and I think there'll be a kinder nation, a kinder humanity going forward, because everyone's in this together. there is not a single country that I know of that's not affected by this. You know, you've got 3/4 of the world population in lockdown, and when people come out, it's gonna be kind of like a nice but new beginning. That's what I see.
Wow,
That's what I
wonderful
see.
insights. Wonderful insights. Look, and I hope you're right. I hope that, man, keep putting their arm around each other and saying, hey, we're all
Absolutely.
in this together and, we're all equal.
And I know exactly. And you know what? I'm a great believer, and it is going to be okay. This will be okay. But maybe, you know what? Maybe, you know, I don't know. Maybe this was required for humanity to have a check, in terms of like where are we going with our lives? What are we doing? Now people care. Now people are concerned about the elderly parents, as am I. Before it was like work, 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 work. Now everything's just like come to a standstill, and you will have a reality check. I think everybody has had a reality check, to be honest.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
um, I think they really have, and it's a harsh way of looking at it. With so many people passing away, of all ages, not just old people, young people now as well. And these are challenging times, but I believe you got to have faith in your Lord, and you got to make sure that you got to instill that faith in your family and your friends and say, look, it's going to be okay, and it will be okay. I'm a great believer in that. It will be okay.
Yep, it is what you make of it too. So,
Absolutely.
it's back to your
Absolutely.
own personal beliefs and your own
Absolutely.
personal energies, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jabbar, can I change tack and we're still forecasting here. So franchising is a different beast around the world compared to
Mm,
small businesses.
mm.
Can you sort of understand some of the changes or nuances or what's going to be different in the franchising space? Both, you talked operationally, but now let's talk, is this going to affect franchise arrangements? Is this going to affect legally how the code is handled? What can you see coming?
Um, are you talking from a franchisee perspective or a consumer perspective?
Oh, no, from a franchisor, franchisee relationships, and what's going to be different? Is there going to be some political impact? Is that going to change how we manage contracts and all those kind of
Uh,
things?
I think from a political point, no. I think from a a partnership between a franchisor and a franchisee, possibly. I mean, people are obviously now going to look at, if there was ever an issue like this again, God forbid, how would we be impacted? The people will be looking for a safety net
Yes.
um, in that respect, because obviously loss of sales. Because as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's any insurance policy in the world that covers you for COVID-19 because it didn't exist, until 3-4 weeks ago. So yeah, I think franchisees will look for some sort of comfort from the franchisor, and me likely from my master franchisor, in terms of if something was to go wrong, what what do we have in place to soften the blow? Um, so that possibly yes. Franchising will always be strong because people love doing their own businesses. They want to be part of a brand that's going somewhere. They want a challenge. So that will still exist. Franchising will still be strong going forward. And I think possibly it might get better and bigger because people obviously have lost jobs now. Um, so, and most people want to be, in charge of their own destiny, in charge of their own income. And being a franchisee, you can do that. Yes, you have to make sacrifices. But yes, I think from a franchisor point of view, there needs to be something that's implemented where a franchisee has comfort that their business is safe going forward.
Right. Wonderful. Wow. Okay. Now, Jabbar, do you have any last thoughts or anything you want to say to the Australian franchising community?
Look, I also want to say is, look, life is tough right now. But honestly, believe in yourself. The time that you have right now, spend with your loved ones, and be positive. Okay, you will get through this. We will all get through this. We're all in it together. Doesn't matter what faith you are. Doesn't matter where you're from. we're all in it together. And you got to have that faith. You got to believe in that. And there are days that you think, it's going to get worse, but again, you got to have that mindset to override that and think it's going to get better. Okay? Because right now we're, every country, in particular UK, we hit rock bottom. And once you hit bottom, the only way is up.
So
So you gotta have, and enjoy these moments that you're with your family and your, not friends, but with your family in particular. And I know it's odd because you're not used to seeing maybe your wife so much during the day, or you're not used to seeing your kids so much during the day. But enjoy this moment. And you get one life, and make the most of it. And we can all look back at this and think, it was a test. And we've all got to pass this test. And I see, globally everyone passing that test because everyone is in. I keep on saying the same. I sound like a parrot, but everyone is in the same position here. It doesn't matter if you've got $1 billion or you got $1. You're in the same position right now.
So true. Thank you for those wonderful, kind words. The world is a better place with you in it, Jabbar. So I wish.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish that we could spread this word as far and as wide as we can, and people would listen and be inspired. And deep down, people are hurting, and if we can inspire someone to keep going just a little bit more, that's why we're here. So, I really appreciate your time. Really, thank you for your insights.
You're very welcome.
I wish you all the best for you and your family. And all your people, your group.
Thank you.
All the best. And we hope that in the next few months, maybe down towards the end of the year, we can touch base again and check in with each other and see how you're traveling.
Absolutely, Mark. Likewise, all the best to you and your family. Stay safe, stay indoors, and, try and, I know it's hard, but try and enjoy these moments with your loved ones, and stay strong.
Will do. Ladies and gentlemen, Jabbar Mumtaz, the master franchisor for Donut King and Crust Gourmet Pizzas in the United Kingdom. If you have any positive franchising stories out there, I'd love to hear them. Drop me an email at mark@bda-online.com.au. I'm Mark Fernandez, and this is Franchising with Fernandez.